So now we're using this Firebase auth state changes stream to either show our chat screen or the auth screen. Now there's one thing to note. If I restart this, you might sometimes briefly see the authentication screen before you see the chat screen. Here, I'm actually not able to reproduce this, but on some devices you might see the auth screen for a fraction of a second. And this could happen if Firebase takes a bit longer to load that token that is stored on the device. Therefore, to be safe that you never see this auth screen for a fraction of a second, I do recommend that you add a third screen, which I will add here by just copying the chat screen, which I'll name Splash Dart. So that's the file name. And then the screen in there will be named Splash Screen. And the idea behind that screen simply is to use it as a loading screen whilst Firebase is figuring out whether we have a token or not. So therefore in here, I'll output loading as a text. And with that splash screen added back in main Dart, in this builder that belongs to the stream builder, you can add another if check at the very beginning and take a look at this snapshot that's created by Firebase. And that snapshot will also have a connection state property, just as the snapshots with the future builder had. This can be used to check whether we're currently still waiting for our first value. So if Firebase is not done loading that token or figuring out whether there is a token yet. And in that case, we could and should return our splash screen here, like this. Of course, for that, just as for the chat screen, you must add an import here at the top. So that's what I'm doing. But with all those imports added, we can now show all these different screens for the different circumstances. And showing such a splash screen initially until Firebase is done figuring out whether the user is logged in is a practice you might want to pick up and is a feature you might want to add to your apps as well. With that here, everything works as before, but we're making sure that this auth screen can't accidentally show up initially.